Hey Pokedad Fan Club, it's me, Pokedad, and today we're doing another battle for you. This time we're showcasing a deck by my friend Caleb Rice. He's a good friend and testing partner, and I asked him for a good Zoroark Lycanroc list. He's one of the best Zoroark Lycanroc players I know in my area, and so he gave me a list that I can share with you guys. So we're going to play a little Zoroark Lycanroc today. I do believe Zoroark Lycanroc is the best Zoroark variant. There's a lot of there's Zorogarb and Zoropod, but I feel like Zoroark Lycanroc is the best variant. And if you're going to play Zoroark, it's probably the variant you should play. It has a lot of techs in it. Rooms for text so that it can beat Buzzwole still. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started, and started off with a Zorua and a Rockruff, and indeed we are starting off against Buzzwole. So we've got Buzzwole in the active and a Diancie Prism Star on the bench, so that Buzzwole will be jet punching for a lot. And you know, Beast Ring aside, I think that Jet Punch is probably like too overpowered. It wouldn't be if there wasn't so many buffs for fighting, but with Strong Energy and Beast Energy and Choice Band and Diancie and Regirock, it just seems like the meta is a little too overpowered for Buzzwole. That they have such a strong early game with Jet Punch hitting for up to 110 damage, and then mid game being able to still Beast Ring and use Absorption or Knuckle Impact. Matter of fact, a lot of times they can finish the game off with a dangerous rogue from a Lycanroc themselves. But anyway, our opponent, he goes through his turn, gets Remoraid down, and puts a Strong Energy. We, on the other hand, are going to go ahead and start with the Bridget. That's usually the best supporter for us on turn 1. We'll get another Rockruff down, 2 more Zoruas. We know that this Zorua is going down, so we can't really do much about that. But we can get a Rockruff ready, and maybe we can do a dangerous rogue taking out this Buzzwole next turn. And we see just a Jet Punch here, so nothing super, but he does take the Zorua down and puts the other Zorua under pressure. All we really have here is an N, so we'll go ahead and play the N. That'll put our opponent down to 5. Now it looks like he might have been drawing dead, but I didn't have really any other option, so I had to play the N there. We'll go ahead and evolve into Zoroark, and we'll trade once, getting rid of the Guzma. And that nets us another Zoroark, so we'll be able to go ahead and get a second trade. And in this case, we'll go ahead and trade away the multi-switch. Even though that is a nice card to have, we don't really need it right now. And if we do need it later in the game, we always have double puzzle possibilities to get it back out later in the game. So we go ahead and play the Parallel City so that my opponent can't get any more on his bench, but unfortunately we whiffed energy, so we really can't do much here. I think the best thing to do is go ahead and evolve into Lycanroc so we don't get knocked out from a Jet Punch, and maybe we can stall a turn by bringing up something in the active. So we bring the Diancie Prism Star into the active, and we'll see if that can stall a turn. Not the greatest turn 2, but you know, at least we got 2 Zoroarks and we're already getting our trades online. That's good, and we've got a Lycanroc about ready to go. So we will see what happens. So our opponent, he attaches another energy to the Buzzwole, and Does he have anything else? Supporter, Float Stone, Artillery. Oh, he has a Guzma. So he Guzma's up the Zoroark, and he is going to hit a Jet Punch here. And that hits us for a whopping 140, 70 times 2. We'll go ahead and put a Float Stone on this Zoroark. We got to get it out of there. And then we'll go ahead and Tapu Lele Wonder Tag here. And I think I would probably want to get Mallow, because if I Mallow, I can get a Strong Energy and a Choice Band here, and we can then Dangerous Rogue this Buzzwole for a knockout. And it'll kind of put his board state pretty low. Now it does activate B-String, so he might be able to get a return KO here, but at least we're getting this threat taken care of. And you know, regardless, when you're playing against Buzzwole, you've got to take out all their threats that are coming through. So we'll trade away the N so we can get the Strong Energy Choice Band, and we will set up for a Dangerous Rogue here. And that will hit for 150 base, and then the buffs another 50 because of the Choice Band and the Strong Energy, so that brings us up to 200 damage, knocking out the Buzzwole. We get another Strong Energy and another N. Interesting. He plays down Brooklet Hill, brings up the Remoraid, and he uses Brooklet Hill to bring in a Buzzwole. So I'm half expecting, okay, so we got a Sycamore here, getting rid of a N and a Guzma and a Lycanroc. So there's a good chance he's going to hit a B-String and or Elixirs. So there's Elixir number 1 coming. Do we see any more Elixirs coming or a B-String? I'm also wondering if he should have brought out Baby Buzzwole. I'm assuming he plays it, but it might be prized. And there's another Elixir. And he gets a second attachment, so now he just needs to attach one more time and play a Float Stone. What is our opponent gonna do? So he attaches to the Remoraid, and he has to use that to get it out of the active. And then he's gonna just Jet Punch here for 50 and then 30 to that Zoroark. It still survives another turn. We kind of get lucky here. And what I want to, because we top decked the Sycamore, so I'm not going to attach the Strong Energy here. I'm just going to Sycamore this away, because now we're looking for a Mew EX and a DCE. And if we hit that, then we can take another knockout on this Buzzwole, and then we can follow that up possibly with a Mew 2. So we're going to trade. We know we can get the Mew EX right now, as long as it's in the deck. There's the Mew 2, but that doesn't really help us just yet. Go ahead and trade again. We can trade an Ultra Ball away here. And so we can Ultra Ball probably the Rockruff and maybe the Field Blower or the Cynthia. The Cynthia is fine since we've got trades and we've got double puzzle of time. So we'll get a Mew EX, and I think this is where our opponent sees the writing on the wall. And so see, this deck can take KOs on Buzzwole pretty quickly. Go go ahead and get rid of the Brooklet Hill, and yeah, their opponent scoops. So we would have just Ritus beating that Buzzwole, and we would have only needed one more attack. There's a potentially we could have even just Claw Slashed the Lele, Guzma that up for game. So we had a good shot. I think he realized that there wasn't much more that could be done. He might have been able to Jet Punch, take a knockout on that Zoroark, but I don't think he would have been able to take a knockout on an active, because even the max damage is like 110, even with a Beast Energy and a Choice Band. But anyway, that was a good game. Here's another one. This time we're playing against another Zoroark variant. And we'll play against, we'll see what this one holds for us. This game ends up being pretty back and forth, but I think the reason why I want to show you this game is more because of just the power of how quick Zoroark variants and Zoroark Lycanroc can set up in spite of having a bad start. So we do get a Lele start here. And we'll just click done. And we start with a handful of energy. So we attach the DCE. It might have been better to attach this fighting energy there, just because they might have been playing hammers. However, my thought is I probably would rather that go on a Rockruff. But we still had the strong, so I could have put a strong on a Rockruff sometime down the road. However, in this case, so going into our next turn, we do go ahead and attach that fighting energy. We really don't have much to do, so we just energy drive. We'll take a KO on this Zorua, and we are lucky to get a Tapu Lele off of the prizes. I don't see any threat of us being knocked out this turn. I guess Zoroark, Choice Band, Kukui, Reverse Valley, that could do it, but I don't think that would be a lot of cards for our opponent, and they whiffed the Kukui anyway. So looks like our opponent just puts down another Trubbish. Puts down a Mew EX, and is just gonna energy drive, I think, and hit us for 100. Okay, and that's kind of unfortunate, because now to take a knockout on this Mew EX, I have to commit another DCE to this Lele. I go ahead and Lele for Bridget, and my thinking is I have Zoroark in hand, so I will at least be able to trade once next turn. And believe it or not, I look like I'm better set up than my opponent is. So we'll get 3 Zoruas here, so we can start getting some trades out. And actually, because of this, we're able to actually go up on prizes pretty quickly. We've already taken 3 prizes, they've taken 6. However, there is a little problem with this, and it'll become evident as we go further into this game, is that because I've taken prizes so quickly and I haven't thinned my deck, I still have 40 cards, it makes us really susceptible to a late game in. And with them playing Garbodor, they can potentially shut off the trade abilities. So anyway, I won't spoil it too much for you, but they now bridge it, so finally they get their Bridget. They bridge it for a Mewtwo, and they have the DCE, and so they'll be able to take a knockout with the Mewtwo here. Alright, so we'll promote our Zorua, and our top deck is another Bridget. We don't really need to use that, so probably the Mallow is what we're going to use. Obviously we'd like to get an attack off. We can't really knock this Mewtwo out without a Kukui, and if we're using Mallow we can't use Kukui, so we'll go ahead and Mallow here, and I think probably we'll grab a Zoroark just so we can continue to get set up further, and a DCE so we can at least get an attack off this turn. And we'll trade away that Bridget. I don't really need that anymore. Our bench is pretty well set up, and so we know what we're getting. We're getting the Zoroark and the DCE. Now, I don't really want to trade Filbulor because I do know that Garbotoxin could come in effect at any point. So we're going to just go ahead and take a knockout, or not take a knockout, put 100 damage on this Mewtwo, and I don't foresee the Zoroark getting knocked out, so maybe we can begin to get our Lycanroc set up. But here's what I was talking about, how we're getting end here already, and that's a little problematic for us because now we're down to 3 cards, and even though we have 2 trades, it's still not it's just not ideal. So he trades, he's down to 2 cards, he's going to attack, but he's not going to do a lot of damage because we're resistant here. So I don't know what our opponent's really waiting for. There's not much left to do. And he's just Psychics here for 40. So I come to a decision here. I've got a couple trades. Maybe I should have evolved the Lycanroc there. I just guess I wanted to use the ability for a time when it was relevant. But I think maybe evolving the Lycanroc there was the right play. Because then we protect the Rockruff. I go ahead and get a fighting energy on this Rockruff, and then I'll go ahead and trade again, and I think trading the Kukui is fine. Doesn't seem like it's super important in this matchup, and we'll just ride his beating, taking another prize here. So we're down to 2. But we still haven't, even though we have 2 trades going, we still really haven't thinned the deck really well. We're still at 31 cards, so we're still really susceptible to late game end. So our opponent has 3 cards in hand, 3 Trebuchets down. I'm also trying to be mindful of not to play too many items because I don't want Garbotoxin to come in and you know, really destroy us. Trash Lance, I should say. I don't want Trash Lance to come in and destroy us. He plays a Lele down here, and he grabs Guzma. I've got to tell you, this guy, for having such a thin hand and still having a deck that's really thick, he really has hit all of his energy pretty well. Because he's going to end up Guzming up this Rockruff, and so he punishes the play that I made by not taking a knockout or he's gonna knock out this Rockruff because I didn't evolve the Lycanroc. He double puzzles here. Oh, okay, this is, yeah, he double puzzles. I think he gets a Float Stone and a DCE. Okay, so he didn't have the energy, but he had a way to get it back. And then he takes a knockout on this Rockruff, going down to 3 prizes. So I bring up the Zoroark, and I guess there's several things that are going through my mind. One of the things is I don't want him to get Garbotoxin with an N followed up by an N. So I go ahead and trade the Acerola because I don't think it's going to be too important. I go ahead and bench the other Zorua. I'm gonna go ahead and trade again, and this time we'll get rid of the Cynthia because everything in my hand is pretty much something I want to keep. We actually get another Zoroark, and so we trade again. Just trying to thin that deck as much as possible. And so here I'm going to just Guzma up this Trubbish with the Float Stone. Again, he's only got 1 card in hand, and I'm thinking to myself, I'd really like to keep him from getting Garbotoxin online and shutting down my ability to use trade, and then comboing that with an N. That would be really problematic. However, I might have been better off just hitting into the Zoroark for 100 damage. Get another Rockruff. I'm down to 1 prize, so I really just want to Guzma for game next turn. He trades, and he only has 3 cards in hand. Gets another Zoroark. He trades again, an Acerola, and he Ultra Balls, and of course he gets the Ultra Ball so he can Lele for N. And so he'll drop me down to a 1 card hand while he gives himself 3 cards. So that's really unfortunate for me because I had game in hand, and now we've got to dig for it. Fortunately, we have 3 Zoroarks here, so maybe we can pull something out. We'll be seeing, 6 more cards here, and that's not a bad card to trade. So at least it's not something we really need. He attaches another DCE, and then he Riotous Beatings here for 120. So we get a Choice Band. So we trade the Bridget away. We still have 30 cards in deck, and that's a problem. So, not really sure what to trade, but I think the Lycanroc, since we don't have a Rockruff, the Lycanroc is the best, because I think the Choice Band is relevant. But then we draw into 2 ends, so we trade again, and we really don't hit anything that's useful. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end here. I don't know that, maybe inning is the wrong play. It probably is. And I guess that just goes to show you that I'm not familiar with the deck. I think N is probably wrong here because I'm gonna play all these cards and then I'm gonna end myself to 1 again. But I end him to 3 and he's got 2 trades. Might have just been better to hold what I had, because with a puzzle in hand, I might have been able to trade into another one next turn. And the field blower is a lot worse than having puzzle. So I think that was a major change in the game right there. I hit him for 100, so maybe we can get into a Guzma DCE and take him out. Obviously he's going to retreat this turn. He's not going to leave that Zoroark active. And I had to attack with my badly damaged Zoroark because I just don't have, I didn't have anything else to attack with. I guess there could even be a case to be made to retreat the Zoroark into the Floatstone one, but I don't know that that's good either. He can just Guzma, and yeah, he throws a Guzma away there, so yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. So it's probably good that I went ahead and attacked. He field blowers the Parallel City away and the Floatstone. He gets Trash Lunch up, and at this point we're really in a lot of trouble right here. Plays Kartana and gets rid of the DCE, which I guess is fine. That Zoroark is going down anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He retreats and he brings up his other Zoroark, and the right is beating for a knockout. So I definitely had some misplays in this game, but I do want to, it's still set up even though I started off really poorly, and I guess that's the point I want to show you in this matchup. Alright, so can we pull this out? We need a Guzma and a DCE. There's a DCE. Let's see, we're hitting 80, 110. Yo, we just need that Guzma. So we got one trade. We're in it all the way to the very end. Trade number 2. And nothing. So I guess the best thing is to attach to the active and swing for 100 here. I go ahead and bench the Rockruff because my thinking is if he has Guzma, he can take out the Zorua anyway. And that at least gets me up to 100 damage. So I can potentially hit for 110 next turn, but it's unfortunate we whiffed. And in a way, I would say our opponent did draw pretty well in this match. So we hung in there in spite of all the problems, but I was gonna say all of our opponent needs is a Guzma, but actually you'll find this is a really cheeky little play. All he needs is a Mallow to win, and he gets another Ultra Ball to grab another Lele. I started one Lele, I played another one, and I never got to see the third one. He made use of his Leles very well in this game, so props to my opponent for that. Grabs the Mallow, and he's just gonna grab the unit energy off the Mallow, and since neither of us have used our GX yet, he will use what is the GX there? I forget. I just know that it's take one prize, and so he'll add the energy to the Kartana GX, and he'll use Blade GX there for one prize and win the game. But anyway, in spite of losing, I think that was a really good match to show off the deck. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's look at the list and take a screenshot of this list. Go through. I'll spend a little bit longer than I normally do going over the lists because there is a lot of moving parts in this. We didn't even really get a chance to see Baby Buzzwole, but that's a really strong attacker in the mirror, especially when they're at the 4 prize mark, because then you can just sledgehammer against another Zoroark and take a knockout. So here's the list. You got the 4/4 line of Zoroark that has been popularized by Tord. when he won the 2 internationals. We've got the baby Buzzwole, the 3-2 line of Lycanroc, and then we have the Mew EX and the Mewtwo for the Buzzwole matchup. We play the 3 Lele's, 1 multi-switch comes in really handy, and then just a variety of supporters along with Parallel City. It looks like we got 3 ends, because really this deck can, with Lycanroc being able to use a Lysander effect, a Gust effect, you can usually use that to bring something up, take it out like an Octillery, and then in late game. So that's super strong in this deck. I think that's one of the reasons why Zoroark Lycanroc is so strong, because it has the ability to do basically 2 supporters in 1 turn. And then we've got Kukui to hit extra damage when we need it. 2 choice bands, 2 strong energies, 3 fighting energies, and 4 DCEs. And then we've got the 3 Bridgets, which help us get started. And then various draw supporters, and then we've got the Guzma, the Ace Rolla, and 2 Parallels to give us a little bit of disruption on our opponent. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you. Hit that like button for me, it really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't, and feel free to leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this deck, and also tell me what your favorite deck in the Forbidden Light meta is right now, and what decks you'd like to see played in the near future. Thanks again, Pokedad Fan Club, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.